I realize I ended the last video without a question. Whoops. Okay, this question, what grade do I teach? If you all don't know that, oh no.
Now, before we go on, we would like you to take some time to fill out the back of your BWI, Biblical Worldview Integration Planner. So take out your work and look at page 2. Now, actually, the back page in your participant guide is us at times when we're anxious. Your BWI, Biblical Worldview Integration Planner. So take out your work and look at page 2. Now, actually, the back page in your participant guide is facing you. We've arranged the guide so that you can see both the front page and the back page at once. Look down at the back page and fill in the blank with whatever it is that you circled. If you're talking about bones, you put in bones. How do bones connect with the bigger picture? Whatever you circle, this is your content. All right. Then I'd like you to actually take time now to think about, is there any connection between this subject and the nature and character and role of God? All right. And then move on to creation, humanity, moral order, and purpose. And if you get stuck, don't sweat it. Sweat it a little bit. Try a little bit, but if you're really stuck, move on. Many times, a teacher will already have a good idea of which connection they want to make. And there's a temptation to just focus in on that one connection and skip the rest because you're so excited about it. But we urge you to take the time to think about the other 5 areas, the other 4 areas, to give yourself a chance. A little later on, you're going to have to decide on which of the 5 biblical worldview connecting points you want to focus on. And we want you to pick one. That's right, just one.
Pause and take time to fill out the back of your BWI planner. Did you know that there's an airport called Baltimore
What you've been
Washington
doing now is
International
you've been
Airport?
thinking about
That's what I fly
specific
out of.
biblical truths in these 5 areas of a worldview. And that is a very, very critical part of the whole process. Now, at Cascade Christian Schools, the teachers asked for help in this area. And so we worked to put together a resource for them. And the resource that came out of that was this, the Biblical Worldview Integration Guide. I would like to highly, highly recommend this guide to you. I believe that every teacher in America who's teaching in a Christian school needs this guide. And it ought to be on every desk in this area. And so we worked to put together that's a big help. And then it goes in to talking about how these different specific biblical truths relate to God, creation, humanity, moral order, and purpose with respect to mathematics. And then it has a section on history. Then it has a section on sciences, okay? Music and the arts. And I tell you, when the Cascade Christian school teachers got this resource, they felt like they died and gone to heaven. Really, really helpful. So we recommend that for all of you.
That was very short. We're just going to, oh well, we'll just keep going.
Humanity, moral order, and purpose with respect to mathematics.
The video's a glitcher. Step 5, okay.
In our example of the 7th grade literature lesson of Robert Frost, the teacher selected creation as the worldview component. Now, in step 5, the object is to write a clear, concise statement of the specific biblical truth that you want your students to comprehend. Now, in this case, here's what this teacher wrote. In our example,
Oh, yeah.
the teacher wrote, creation is designed to give pleasure to the sight. Now, she actually took that from the back of the planner, and 90% of the time, this is the way it works. You won't have to change a thing, but sometimes you will have to change a thing. But you need to take one of those specific biblical truths that you thought of and bring that to the front of the planner in box 5 in the form of one complete sentence. All right? Now, what you're doing is this. You're answering the question, what about creation? Or what about humanity? And the process is one of narrowing your thought. Here's how it goes. First of all, you've answered the focus question in all 5 areas, or at least as many as you could. Then, after you did that, you chose one to focus in on, and then you wrote that on the front of your planner in box 5 in the form of a specific biblical truth, what you're going to focus on. The exercise in your book of thinking exercise number 5 is one that we want to walk you through right now. We have to make reference to some completed biblical worldview integration planners that are in the white pages of the Making the Connections textbook. And in this edition, the edition you have, we are looking at page 56. 56. Let's take a look at this and see how what has been written in box 5 answers what about. If you look at this lesson, you'll see right at the top, it's a language arts lesson. And if you look way over on the right-hand side, up at the top, it says grade 7. And if you look at step 2, what do you see circled? What's the basic academic focus here? Page 56 in the white pages. What does it say? Right. Experimentation in medical treatment of people with disabilities. That's the focus here. So when she comes to step 4, she's going to say, okay, how does experimentation in medical treatment of people with disabilities connect with the bigger picture? And which one did she check? Correct. Circled. What's the basic academic focus here? Check. Correct. Moral order. Now, look in box 5 and see how it answers the question, what about moral order? Let's read it together. Go. We have a great responsibility to treat all humans with utmost dignity and respect because everyone is made in the likeness and image of God. So that does it. Well, what about moral order in connection with this subject matter? All right? Let's take a look at another one here. Let's turn to page 60. Page 60. This is a unit. And by the way, let me just say this, that this BWI, Biblical Worldview Integration Planner, can be used for units, not just lessons. This is a unit in health for the 6th grade. Now, if you look in area 2, what is the focus of the academic content here? What is it? Correct. Responsible use of drug substances. It's circled. So when this person got to step 4, the focus question was, How does the responsible use of drug substances connect to the bigger picture? And which of the 5 areas did this teacher connect it with? Correct. Purpose. Now, look in box 5 and see how it answers the what about purpose question with respect to the responsible use of drug substances. Here's the answer. Let's read it together. The purposes of God can be better accomplished through human vessels when those vessels are properly cared for. I see where this teacher is headed. All right. Let's do, just to make sure we've got this, one more. Turn to page 62. This is a middle school science class. And what's circled in box 2? What's the academic focus here? Anybody? Right. Rudolf Virchow's theory of existence of living cells. So the focus question becomes, well, how does Rudolf Virchow's theory of the existence of living cells connect with the bigger picture? And which of the 5 components did the teacher connect it with? Creation. Well, what about creation? Read it. All life forms were created by God, including the first cells, and He has ordained that living things produce after their kind. I see where this teacher's heading. It's clear, okay? It's pretty simple, actually. Let's move on. In the 7th grade example, as we said, the teacher wrote, creation is designed to give pleasure to the sight. She wrote that right into box 5. So let's do that right now. Figure out which of your specific biblical truths you want to focus on, bring it to the front of the planner, and write it in box 5 in the form of a complete sentence. Now, let's continue our walk through the example by having Don Johnson come back and take us through steps 6, 7, and 8, and then we'll continue on.
Wow. Okay. What is the name of my cat? And look at how I'm doing so far. It's all beautiful like that. And actually, Luther's here sleeping. Oops, I just said it. What's the name of my other cat?